All right, welcome back. Welcome back. This is Inside Pages on Metro Television. So we're taking a trip straight to the ASSIN North constituency, where a very, very big by-election is coming off in that particular constituency. Charles Opoku of the NPP is slugging it out with embattled Jachi Kwesin, and who actually lost his seat following a declaration by the Supreme Court that his election in the first place was null and void, and so his name should be deleted from the list of parliamentarians in Parliament. And so a by-election has been declared by the Electoral Commission, and so that's why we're having this by-election. But the NDC, per their own strategy and understanding of the terrain, have decided to put him up again for elections. They're saying that even if, in the worst case scenario, something happens to him in court, they'll still be proud to have him as a member of parliament. He's the best man, according to the NDC, for this particular competition or contest. And also Charles Opoku of the MPP as well. Not necessarily a native of that particular constituency, but nothing actually stops him from contesting if, per the MPP's calculations, is the best man to win the seat. Now, to gauge the preparations of the two major political parties as far as this by-election is concerned, we have called up the national organizer of the NDC and also of that of the MPP. But we'll start with the Honorable Joseph YAMIN, who is the national organizer of the NDC, to give us a sense of the party's preparedness for the by-election. What gives him confidence that the NDC will retain this particular seat we're talking about? Mr. Joseph YAMIN, good morning. Thank you very much for joining us on Inside Pages. Mr. Joseph YAMIN, please unmute so that we can hear you. I can hardly hear you. I can't hear you at all. Please unmute. Please unmute, Mr. YAMIN, so that we can hear you. Please unmute. Good.
I have done that.
Yes, yes. Great. I can hear you now. I can hear you now. So where are we in terms of preparations relative to the NDC? What have you been up to in terms of preparations for the big by-elections on Tuesday?
Good morning, Moro. What I can tell you is that the NDC is ready for the by-election, even if it should happen today. We are done with almost everything. We are just running up with our campaign. So just doing mop-ups in certain communities. But what is left now is putting strategies in place for the D-Day. So we are ready. Everybody is here. The party is led by the national chairman of the party. The general secretary is around, myself. The other executives are all here, together with the regional executives and the constituency executives. They are all here, and everyone is playing his or her role very well according to the plans of the party. So we are ready for the by-election, even if it's today.
See, my understanding is that the former president, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, will be touching base, I think, on Sunday or so, per the information that I have. Can you confirm?
Yeah, he's been here for some 2 days and left. The 2020 running mate has also been around to do 1 or 2. So finally, the parties will be having their last political engagements on Sunday, and His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, the incoming president of the Republic 2025, is likely to join the NDC in our last rally.
Okay. What gives the NDC the confidence that it will retain this seat?
Well, a lot of factors comes to play, but few of them that I can mention is one, the economic situation in the country, especially that of the constituency, is going to determine where their vote should go. the popularity of our candidate also is an advantage for us. Again, another advantage is that he is going into the election with a new face rather than the candidate he contested with in 2020, who is a former MP of the area. She was forced out of the contest, out of her will. She was prevented from picking nomination forms to contest. And that has also angered her supporters, especially that of the area she comes from, the Kusia electoral area. So that is also another advantage for us. Then the major one is the unfair treatment of the MPP to Jachikwesin by getting him to court and depriving them from leadership of the MP for all this while. So when all these things that are advantage to us as a political party adds up to the very strategic plans put in place by national, regional, and constituencies, we are very confident that not only are we winning the seat, but the margin will be great.
Interesting. What have you been telling the people of ASSIN North? What has been your message to them? And what again gives you the confidence that you're buying into the message that you are sending out to them?
Well, reactions of the people will tell you whether they are buying into your statement or not. And when we see from their actions, clearly we conclude that the people are ready to give us the nod. The messages varies from uh, uh, community to community, but the major thing is trying to explain the rationale behind the Achikwesin being sent to court, the rationale behind the the court issue, why the people have uh, gone through this suffering from the MPP side. And we need to tell them that the MPP are seriously in need of the numbers so that they could pass certain bills that are just only to their interest. And one of them is the LGBTQ plus bill that almost everybody within the MPP in Parliament is opposed to the bill that is being pushed by uh, some members of Parliament. That they also believe that if they should have the not right now, the CI to make Kanaka the sole form of identification for one to be able to register to vote in the next election. And some bills and agreements, loan agreements that they see is very difficult to get it through Parliament with the current strength they have in Parliament. And so when we tell the people about all these things, which clearly are very bad intentions of the government, they seems to be understanding us gradually.
What can you tell us about this audio which apparently has been going viral where the daughter of the embattled, former member of parliament, Jachi Kwesin, we're told it's the name of this. In fact, the person behind the audio is called One Charlotte. One Charlotte, who is a Canada-based daughter of the former member of parliament, who has been expressing fears about the possibility of her father being jailed. I know that the National Communications Office of the party has issued a statement to that effect, but the MPP is insisting that the audio is authentic. From where you sit, what do you know about this audio?
No, we are not so much concerned. I mean, the party had issued a statement through the communication outfit of the party. That is to tell you the position of the party, that we know this is a doctored tape. But you see, We are not concerned about it. The reason is that we did not force Jachikwesin into this contest. Jachikwesin knows the outcome of the criminal charge he's facing in court. And the fact that you go to court doesn't mean that the court will rule for you. And so you go and make your case, and the court determines whether you have a case or you don't have a case. So that one is one thing that is hanging. And if it's a criminal case, criminal cases do not have periods to which they are tried. Some do go as long as 10 years, 15 years, 30 years before the case finally comes to an end. But the people of ASSIN North are telling us, and they want to thank Jachikwesin. And one of the reasons why they always troop out there to meet Jachikwesin and the party when we come to where they are is that they want to thank Jachikwesin but for him, they wouldn't have known a by-election comes with some development. That when there's a by-election, obviously, road contracts that have been dead for some time miraculously resurrects. Some persons that have never been to the constituency will even walk through it without even stopping to say hi, are all sleeping in the constituencies and other stuff. And so they are ready to vote for Jachikwesin. And they know that the MPP says they are going to jail him. Of course, when they vote for him and they jail him, they know definitely there's going to be another by-election to which development will continue. And so for this one, they will vote for Jachikwesin. If the MPP wants, they should put him behind bars. When they put him behind bars, they are going to come back for another by-election. And they are interested in the development that is ongoing. And they think that Jachikwesin is the source of the development in the constituency as a result of the by-elections. So they are on it. So we are not concerned about what is being said out there. We are concerned about what the people feel, and the people are not interested in any of these things as to say that they will jail him or they will not jail him. All they know is that they are going to vote for Judge.
Has to do with that. We've seen some developments which have been reactivated and Joseph, are you there? Are you still there?
Hello.
Yes, I'm saying that we have seen some projects, road constructions and things which have been reactivated and brought back to life. We have heard the MPP say that these projects would encourage and motivate the people of ASSIN North to vote for Charles Opoku because they would want this development to continue or this construction to continue. Is this something that bothers you, when I say you, as in the NDC, as a political organization?
Well, I don't know where they are picking those intels from, but at least I've also told you the side that is giving credit to Jachikwesin for being the source of the development in the area. Because some road constructions stalled as late as 2021, immediately after the elections. But by elections has resurrected it, like you have rightly said. And they know that, but for the by election, the roads would have still been where it is now. Again, the by election has brought some development too, but has brought some bit of uncertainty. Yesterday, I made this statement somewhere, and I'm told some media houses are trying to put a spin on it that we are not unable to campaign. Some even calling me a lazy person or something. What really is that the road constructions within the communities are ongoing, and there's been constant rain almost about a week. And so people are cut off from coming to town. You can can go through those roads only with a very strong 4x4 vehicle. Even 4x4 vehicles at a certain point is so slippery that you cannot even cross the place. So people are locked up, and it's almost raining every time. So it's difficult to even go out there and want to go and campaign. If they are basing their hopes on this kind of development, tiring of roads, for instance, yesterday within the Breku enclave, they were supposed to commission an AstroTurf, and the AstroTurf, there's supposed to be a road leading to the AstroTurf to be tarred before the construction of the road. Unfortunately for them, because of the rains, that road has not seen an asphalt put on it, and so they had to drive through the mud to get to the AstroTurf to go and commission it. And so, if they are banging their hopes on these developments, then I'm sorry for them. They should rethink, because these projects are not in any way being an advantageous to their campaign, because the people are really suffering as a result of that. Of course, if not for the by-election, no contractor in his right sense, frame of mind, will go onto a road and want to form a road, knowing very well that it's a rainy season, and any road that you form will definitely have some negative impact on the community.
Joseph, how about security? Have you been impressed so far about security arrangements? Have you had meetings, for instance, with a regional or with RedSec? And if it has happened, what's been the nature of the conversation that's happened between you? Do you have any concerns about security, etc.?
No, as at now, we've not met in terms of security, but there's been a planned meeting between the political parties and the police force led by the IGP on Monday to outline security measures for the elections. We'll get to find out who are the people that are going to uh, uh, protect the people as they go in there to go and vote. How are they going to be identified? Who are these people? Are these people? In fact, we did it in Kumaru, and we're going to do it on Monday. We get to know who and who is there, so we know how to treat each and every person we see around in the constituency.
How about the Electoral Commission? Have you had any? Have you sat with the Electoral Commission to agree on a few things? Because we saw what happened in Kumewu. You had concerns about an Electoral Commission official who was actually asking somebody to vote in a particular direction. In order to forestall such a thing from happening, have you met the Electoral Commission, and what's been the nature of the discussion that's taking place between you and them?
The Electoral Commission has always been engaging political parties um, on daily basis in every processes they go through, and we have our election directorate um, rightly with them as they undertake any move, and so we are closely monitoring the whole event, the whole situation. The party is not turning a blind eye to any of these processes. So whatever we don't understand, we will question. We want to find out whether we understand it or not. We will let you to explain to us for us to take an action. So we are in constant touch. The election directorate is with them, and the party is finding out almost everything. What we know is that whatever they give us, we do our own research, our own background checks on it, and we report it. We are just a step away from the Electoral Commission.
Now, if you look at and this is my penultimate question, if you look at the 2020 elections, I'm talking about the parliamentary elections, Jachi Kwesing polled some 17,498 as compared to the MPP's 14,193, which represents about 44%, and the NDC's Jachi Kwesing at 55.2%. Now, but if you look at the presidential, the MPP won in that particular constituency, presidential. The MPP is telling us that since presidential, they were able to win in that particular constituency, they're going to translate that into the election this time around to make sure that the numbers that the president, His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo, got in 2020 is what the current member of parliament, in fact, that's the same number they intend to secure. Is this something that gives you a discomfort? The fact that you didn't win presidential in ASSIN North, the MPP won, you won the parliamentary. Does that give you any reason to be a bit worried that you may just lose it?
Well, this will come from a naive executive or a person within the MPP political party to want to base their projections on the previous election. This is not a general election. What we know is that general elections do have higher turnout as against by-elections. And so we are currently at a position that we cannot in any way be able to determine what the percentage will be like as far as turnout is concerned. So how are you able to say that Nanado had this amount of votes, and so we'll turn things around and want to whatever what you are just putting across? It doesn't make sense in any way. But hey, people will want to find something to justify their incompetence as far as organization in political parties are concerned. What we know is that the people of ASSIN are going to decide on a parliamentary candidate, not a presidential candidate. There are two distinct personalities here. We have the presidential, we have the parliamentary. In general elections, we vote presidential, we vote parliamentary. Sometimes the presidential candidate drives or determines the votes that gets to the parliamentary candidate. Sometimes the parliamentary candidates determine the votes that the presidential candidates have. That is what political parties' understanding of voting is. But in this instance, what we are faced with now is a parliamentary election. So the people are going to decide on a parliamentary candidate to be the member of parliament. At this particular point in time, it is about the popularity of the candidate. It's about the programs of the candidate. It's about how the people feel about the candidate, and not a political party's presidential candidate. For now, the MPP do not have a presidential candidate. Nana Danko Akufo-Addo is not going to be on the ballot in 2024. So at what point will they be banging their hopes because he won 2020 with a certain margin? And for that matter, they are going to go in there and want to vote for. Jaju Kwesi had 17,000 plus votes in the 2020 elections. How sure are we that even his side of the vote alone, the 17,000, are going to come out to vote on the day of election? For you to be able to say that, the vote that Nanado got is what will whatever get to determine who wins the election. In Kumau, what happened in Kumau is a guiding principle here. And I'm surprised the MPP will not look at that and will just want to be talking how they feel they want to. In Kumau, the MPP candidate had a little over 200 votes to what they had in 2020 elections. The NDC had 1,000 more votes than what we had in 2020. But the independent candidate who had about 11,000 within the 2020 election had less than 1,000 votes in this election, which means that people who voted for the independent candidate, almost about 9,000 to 10,000 people, did not even turn out to vote at all. So at what point will Nanado's vote he had in 2020 be a yardstick to determine who wins the parliamentary elections? It doesn't make sense to me as a political watcher.
I see. Are all the MPs expected to be in ASSIN North? I'm talking about the NDC
As I
MPs.
speak now, yeah, as I speak, the MPs are coming. In fact, this by-election, this is one of its kind ever to happen in this country. We've had series of by-elections, some as a result of death, unfortunately, some as a result of members of parliament putting down their seat. For instance, Ibn Chambers had an appointment and just resigned from parliament, and so the seat became vacant. You have Talensi, the man taking up chieftaincy positions, and so leaving parliament, and a by-election is conducted. But this one is a sitting parliamentary member of parliament, member of parliament, who by whatever reasons has been asked to leave parliament, but still have the opportunity to be able to contest again for the people to decide whether they will send him back to parliament or they won't. And so he's a sitting member of parliament, and for some technicalities by the court, which we cannot challenge, but we don't agree myself, will have to step down. So the members of parliament have taken this by-election as serious and as their own. And so everybody is here. Those that comes and goes, those that are staying within the constituency are all going to come. And I'm sure everyone has indicated for their participation on the day of election. So we will have them around here to support their friend and their colleague.
Finally, what are your expectations? Jachi Kwesin got 17,498 in 2020. What target are you working with?
Hello.
Hello, yeah, Joseph. I'm saying that Jachi Kwesin got 17,498 in 2020. What target are you working with? What target are you working with?
No, we are not working with a target. We are working on winning the seat and winning with a wide margin. So what we are doing is that whatever the outcome in terms of turnout is, majority of the people will vote for the NDC.
All right. So let me let go of you now, because I'm told that the national organizer of the New Patriotic Party, Nana Boachin, we call him Nana B, has joined us via Zoom to also have a conversation with us about the New Patriotic Party's preparations thus far as ASSIN North is concerned. Nana B, good morning. Thank you very much for joining us on Inside Pages.
Good morning, Moro. I hope you can hear me clearly.
Yes, I can hear you very clearly, Nana B. What has been, share with us so far, what has been the preparations of the New Patriotic Party so far? What is it that gives you the confidence that an NPP would upstage the NDC in these elections and win the seat?
Thank you very much, Moro. And then good morning to my colleague, YAMIN. Yes, we are very confident that we are going to snatch the seat from the NDC. I've been here for the past 3 weeks. We've gone through our processes. We've elected our candidate. We've used 10 days to wage an effective campaign. I can tell you that Charles Opoku, who is the MPP's candidate, is going to be victorious. Already he is widely known. His left footprint in every community we've been to. He is philanthropic in nature. He started giving out what he has way back years ago. He's a young man, 40 years. He's an electrical engineer. He's done a lot. In fact, even when they had a new district assembly, they started operating from his own house. He sacrificed his own house for the district. Not only that, he's been able to train almost about 1,000 young persons in different work areas. Again, he's been able to execute free renewal of NHIS cards, and then even new ones, close to about 8,125. He's done a lot of things. He's been paying health bills for people. He actually he has a foundation, and the foundation is Akusi Abako Foundation, and that is a vehicle he put in place to execute his philanthropic gesture. So yes, he's widely known. He is an indigene in ASSIN. That is where his father comes from. His mother comes from there. He schooled there. He had his basic education there. His secondary school. He went to Asempa in a year. So I mean, he is widely known in the constituency. He has a lot of good following in the constituency, and we are making sure. I've said it before that on Tuesday, the NPP is going to win the seat. And then again, if you consider the polls the last time, I heard YAMIN say that he had 17, and that was almost about 2,500 more than what the NPP had. Yes, indeed, it's true. But then YAMIN should not forget that Abna Dua also had almost about 5,000 more than the NDC candidate in the year 2016. All right. So this 2005, we are going to, first of all, put it aside, and then we are going to ride over them. I mean, that is the expectation of the NPP. So, and then His Excellency the President, Nana Dankwa-Akufo-Addo, won in that constituency. That clearly shows that the NPP is rather more popular. The NPP has that appeal in terms of the political party. You know, when it comes to parliamentary elections, a lot of dynamics are put in place. First of all, people vote because maybe they come from the same village with this person. People vote because he's my brother. I went to the same school with the person. We go to the same church, and then all of that. So yes, we had skirt and blouse in the year 2020, but trust me, the entire party is united behind Charles Opoku. The person he contested with, Freeman, he's always with him on the campaign platforms, campaigning actively for him. Honorable Abna Drua Mensah, who was the immediate past, who is the past MP, also is campaigning actively for the candidate. We had another popular person in Praso, and Praso was also one of the places. Traditionally, is for the MPP, but in the year 2020, we had some problems there, and it was because of how we handled our internal politics. But I'm telling you that the entire Praso, and then the person who came from there who intended to contest for the primaries, and then unfortunately there were some few which the community did not take it lightly, and then they punished the MPP for it. I can boldly tell you that this man, Amankwable, is, I mean, on fire. He's on fire campaigning for Charles Opoku. So the rank and file, the entire party is united behind Charles Opoku. Every single person is united behind Charles Opoku, and that is going to do. And then not only that, we have executed numerous projects in the constituency, that is also going to be one leg of our campaign strategy. Look, and I have not, you go to the constituency, you speak to the chiefs. Yesterday, for instance, we commissioned two major projects. We commissioned the 32-kilometer. The vice president was in town. He commissioned the 32-kilometer road right from Praso to Asimfosu. He again commissioned the AstroTurf in ASSIN Breku. And that is, you consider these two projects, and then tomorrow you have His Excellency the President also coming in to commission a number of projects. If you put together the educational intervention, if you put together health, you put together road, you put together water sanitation, rural telephony project, we are talking about some 120 tangible projects we have executed in the constituency. So the MPP has executed quite a number of projects in the constituency, and that is also going to be one of our trump cards. So the fact that the candidate is popular, that is very good. The fact that he himself is accessible, he's well known, he's philanthropic, person. That is another side of it. But the fact that he's also running on the ticket of the MPP, and clearly the people will assess the records of the MPP in the constituency. And I'm saying that the records of the MPP in that constituency is nothing but phenomenal. We've done so well in the constituency. So I can declare to you that the MPP will take this seat. We are going to snatch the seat away from the NDC on Tuesday, and there's nothing the NDC can do about it. They will just sit and watch. The MPP is going to win this constituency straight away.
Do you agree with those who say that this particular by-election, or this by-election, just like all other by-elections, is a referendum on the performance of the MPP government, and that's why the political party, the MPP as a political organization, has taken this whole by-election very personally? You've taken it very seriously. Were you one of those who shares in that view?
Oh, it is a yes and then it is a no. In fact, similar comments were made during the Kumawu by-elections. If you recall, there were some political watchers who said that they are expecting a low turnout because they think that the economic challenges we have in the country clearly will also have an effect on the people, and the people will not come out to vote. But the Kumawu, if you consider those who turn out to vote, the turnout was massive. I mean, if you consider the past 15 years, we've had almost about 15 by-elections. The past 20 years, we've had some 15 by-elections, and the Kumawu turnout is fourth in terms of better turnout. So people came out to vote. We had 63 turnout. The last by-election we had, that was Ayawa, so it was just around 20%. So that was a huge jump. People said that, in fact, people even said that we were going to lose. People said that the independent candidate was going to do better. People said that the NDC is going to perform better. And I also heard my brother Yamin say that the NDC performed better because they had an appreciation in vote from the 2020. Maybe he has not really learned the political history in Kumo very well. The NDC had never performed below 5,000 in Kumewu. In fact, the least they performed was just around 4,000 or so. In the year 2020, if he's aware and he will do his assessment, there are a lot of NDC members who followed the independent candidate. Their thinking was that if the independent candidate is strong and he is getting quite some huge support from the MPP, then why don't they also support the independent candidate, so that at least the seat will not be for MPP, the seat will be in the hands of an independent candidate, and that will be a disadvantage to the MPP. So in the year 2020, a lot of the MPP followers followed the independent candidate, and some NDC people also followed the NDC candidate. And that is how come he had almost about 39% against 51% of the MPP.
Sincerely apologize for that. We're talking to Nana Boache, is the national organizer of the New Patriotic Party, who was telling us about the MPP's preparedness thus far, as far as on the ASSIN North by-elections. Unfortunately, we've lost him. We'll try and get him back on the line. But as you can see on the screens, beautifully displayed, that's the WhatsApp line. If you have any contributions you want to make to the conversation we have about ASSIN North by-elections, you can tell us what your prediction is. Who do you think will win the ASSIN North by-elections and why? And who do you think will lose and why? And so far, based on what you've heard in terms of the preparations, which of the two political parties would you say have impressed you so far in terms of how they're preparing for this by-election? Yes, Nabi, welcome back. Yes, please proceed. Unmute. Please unmute.
Hello?
Yes, please go ahead. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Nanabi. Please go ahead.
Okay, good. Yeah, so I was saying that it is not true, it is not correct that the NDC appreciated. In fact, they rather showed a very poor performance, because if you consider their historical figures they've been getting in Kumewu, they have never gone below 4,000. That is the least they've had. In this case, they had 3,000 and some numbers as well. So it is not true that they added some vote. In the year 2020, they lost quite a good number of their people to the independent candidate. And that is how come they were able to come low to that level. So it is not true. Rather, if there's any political party that did so well in the Kumawu by-election, is the MPP. Why do I say so? It is because the MPP's candidates then, or MP then, had 51%. And then Honorable Ernest Yao Enim also had 71%. That is a huge 20% jump. And then if you consider the difference between the MPP candidate then, Honorable Philip Asua, and then the independent candidate who came second, it was just close to about 2,000 or so difference. That is the year 2020. But then in the year 2023, the by-elections, the difference between MPP, 15,300 or so, to the person who came second, that is the NDC, that is 3,000 and some, I think 3,002 or so. You consider the difference, we are talking about close to about 12,000 vote difference. And that is a huge difference between the 2020 and then the by-elections. So it is never true that the NDC perform better. I mean, it's a propaganda. They just want to deceive their followers with. It is not true. If you consider Kumawu again, there were some polling stations we had never won before. Never. It has always been in the hands of the NDC. In my own hometown in Kumawu, that is such a, the mission polling station. We've never won before, but we won with a huge margin. We had 252. The NDC had 122. In fact, we did so well in some settler communities, Bahankra, Mubia, and Tarentare, and all of that. So for Kumawu, they performed badly. So they should not be lying to themselves. I mean, that is it. I heard Yamin made that assertion. I thought that I had to intervene by that. Here, I understand, yes, people certainly would use the current economic challenge we have to say whether the people are happy or not. And that is fair. I mean, that is okay for political watchers. But when you come here, the expectation of the people are quite different. Look, I have heard chiefs, I have heard people go to Kushia, for instance, they have their town roads and being constructed, is being tied as I speak. If you go to ASSIN Breku, they have their town roads being constructed almost at the asphalt level. If you go to Akomfo, they are at the asphalt level. They have an AstroTurf, they have Agenda 111, the hospital is so beautiful. The stage is at the roofing stage, so beautiful. If you consider this 32-kilometer road, which is excellently constructed, beautifully constructed, I mean, they are happy with it. I mean, if you consider so many things, they are happy. So yes, I mean, we can talk of economic challenges, and sometimes it's prevailing conditions, which is okay. I agree. But then I think the expectation of people would also be pointing to the fact that the MPP, in terms of infrastructure development, and in terms of the many interventions we've made in the constituency, we've been phenomenal. And then they have their fair share, not just fair share, but they've had quite a good share of the national cake. So yes, some people, it is a fair comment to say that maybe you be the outcome of these elections, you can use it to assess the performance of the government and then with the community challenges. But the voters here, the electors here, are also sophisticated, and they'll be looking at something different.
The NDC is accusing you, and that's my penultimate question to you. The NDC is accusing you of engaging in vote buying. You're giving out all kinds of things. There have been videos that have gone viral, and they actually arguing that it's all part of your show of desperation because you are not even confident that you would win. And so you literally want to buy the vote of the constituents. How true is this?
It's false. I mean, this is pure conjecture from the NDC, pure negative fabrication from the NDC. We've never been engaged in even vote buy. And look, the people here are very, very, developmental in their orientation. Trust me, I've visited quite a lot of communities, and everywhere I go, the chiefs are rather requesting for either their community center, there are problems with the school here, they have problems with water, maybe they are mechanized boreholes, they have the motor in a very faulty situation, so come and resolve it for them. I've heard chiefs say that they are farmers and then they want farm input. I have never come across a particular chief who would be personal in his request. It is always that orientation, developmental orientation, and the things they request for are things that will be of general benefit to the entire people in the community. So I find it quite strange, and I think that it is an insult on the intelligence of the people in ASSIN North, especially the chiefs, when NDC people are saying that we are bribing them, meaning that they are also accepting the bribe. Because for bribery and then for food buying, there's one person who's giving out the money and there's another person who's also receiving. But I'm telling you, the people are very, very, very decent. So it is not true. And
Okay.
For the NDC, as I said, they would put out falsehood, and this is not going to be the last time. Trust me, right from today to tomorrow, Monday, they are going to put out a lot of falsehood, a lot of falsehood. So we are focused, we are determined. We have been campaigning even in the rains, right from 3 days ago. It's been raining almost like 4 days continuous. Every other day it will rain. And from our weather forecast today, it might even rain. We have been campaigning in the rain. Yesterday, we did a lot of activities in the rain. We are focused, we are determined, and we are not going to be swayed, or go wayward by these pure fabrications, naked lies, and then just this vile propaganda from the NDC. We are not going to be swayed by that. We are very determined, we are focused, and we are going to win this election. So sometimes some of these voices, when you hear, you only have to put it aside and then focus. We are very focused tomorrow. We are going to win this election on Tuesday.
In the last elections, you had 14,000, a little over 14,000, representing 44 point something percent. What's your target this time around?
Our target is to win. Our target is to win. And if you have to win, meaning that, it's become a two-horse race. It is MPP and NEDC. So if you have to win, mean that you have to get anything above 50%, and that will bring your opponent's figure below 50%, and that will make you a win. So our target is to win, and that is what is going to happen. I don't have a particular figure to pronounce on your show, but I can tell you that we are going to win. Any figure above 50%, that is our target.
I'm told that the president himself, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, is going to be in town, I think, on Sunday. Can you confirm this?
Yes, I can confirm. Tomorrow, His Excellency the President is going to be in town. We have a church service tomorrow. Immediately, he touches ASSIN North. From there, we are commissioning the ultra-modern district assembly complex in Breku. And then from there, he will pay a visit to the Ahunabubri, that is the only paramount chief in the ASSIN North enclave in ASSIN Kushia. And then from there, he also commissioned an important bridge. This is a 70-meter steel bridge, and it is been constructed across the Kushia enclave right over to the Dunkwao area there, so that if you are coming to Accra or if you are going to Cape Coast or anywhere else, you don't really have to go through to Obuasi and then get to Adanse Sokwa, New Odubiase before you get to Praso and then you move. No, you can just move straight into the Kushia town, and then there you go. You are onto the Cape Coast Road. So very, very important project. So he will be commissioning these two projects. From there, then we have our final rally, major rally, and that is the Victory for Charles Opoku rally. the Methodist Park in ASSIN Briku. That is where we have this massive and mammoth rally tomorrow. And then he will be the special guest of honor tomorrow. The vice president was in town yesterday. He also commissioned almost about 2 projects, the 32-kilometer road, and then also the AstroTurf in ASSIN Briku.
Okay. Rana B, it's always a pleasure talking to you, my brother. Have a good day. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, man.
All right. That's Nanabi Nanabuachi. It's the national organizer of the New Patriotic Party talking to us this morning on Inside Pages about the MPP's preparations for ASSIN North by-election. So this is where we conclude our first part of the show. 0553000035. That's the WhatsApp line. Some of you have already sent us messages. We'll be reading them shortly.